I'm trying to do a live stream right now. So today's live stream, for the people who are on there already, thank you for joining me. The point is to have fun, but also trying to raise money for New York City health and hospital workers who are on the front line of this crisis that we're all dealing with. Um, so I'll get back to that in a minute because the stream hasn't even started yet for some people, right? Because I said 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, right? So I'm going to give it another couple of minutes, but thank you for joining. Please post crazy questions. No, I mean, they don't have to be crazy, but post a lot of questions, all right? I don't want this to just be me talking to myself on a computer, which feels kind of weird. I really want to interact with people as much as possible. So, yes, Blake Taylor, I am taking requests for new Easy Star All-Star albums. I'll take the requests. I don't know if I will fulfill the requests, but happy for anyone out there to say what albums they would love Easy Star All-Stars to do a tribute to next. So 1 minute till we actually start this live stream. This is so exciting. And oh, you know what? Someone wants us to do a reggae version of Rush. And if anyone who is watching this can guess who made that request, then I'll give you a shout out, I guess. I'm not giving away prizes. But I think that's a great idea. Who doesn't love Rush? In fact, I recently was corresponding with Alex Lifeson from Rush via email, which was really pretty wild and pretty cool. He's a very, very nice guy, obviously very intelligent. You could tell, I mean, not just from his playing and his writing, but from the emails that he's been writing to me. Very, very cool. So maybe you will see Alex Lifeson involved in an Easy Star All-Stars project in the future. Who knows? I'm going to do a slight adjustment there. So someone wants to know if I love my kids. I wonder if that could have been my kids asking that, watching upstairs. Yes, I love my kids very much and my wife very much. That's a given. Anyway, look, it's 4 o'clock here in New York, 1 o'clock in the Pacific. I don't know what time it is in other places. Maybe someone's texting me to tell me what time it is somewhere. Going to give a shout out to my daughters, Tali and Sivan, who are watching, and my wife, Amy. Those of you who know me personally know them. And if you don't, then you will know Tali and Sivan soon because they do backing vocals on the new Jason Mraz album, which is coming out June 19th. But anyway, let me welcome you all to my very first solo live stream. This is kind of a strange feeling, but then again, I used to DJ on the radio in New York City. And when I did that, I was basically talking to anybody or nobody at the time, or people out there, but I couldn't see them. Although, of course, with that, I was playing music, mostly playing music and not doing a lot of talking. And another thing that I had to do when I was a radio DJ at WKCR 89.9 on your FM dial was sometimes we'd have fundraisers and we'd ask people for donations. And I used to hate that because I just wanted to play music. And I used to hate listening to public radio when they do fundraisers and asking for money. And I'd be like, no, man, stop talking. I want to hear music. So I used to hate doing that. But you know what? I'm doing that right now because we're all suffering in different ways from the current crisis that's going on with COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. And I think we should all do whatever we can to help, right? So the reason I said yes to doing this live stream, besides the fact that it would be fun, was I'm trying to raise money for New York City health and hospital workers. And there's a fund for them, and it provides all the essential things that they need while they're out there trying to save lives. So if everyone who is watching right now and will continue to watch, if you could donate, I believe there's a donate button on the rootfire.net/TV site that you probably started watching this on. Or, you know, there's a link in the preview to this with a donate now. And 100% of the money that you donate will be going to New York City health and hospital workers. I know a lot of artists and musicians are doing fundraisers for themselves, and that's cool. That's great. We all are and we all really need help right now. But I figure that the New York City health and hospital workers really need it more than I do. And here's an interesting fact, or an uninteresting fact, depending on how you think of it. But I used to be a New York City health and hospital worker back in the days. If there's anyone who used to work with me at the hospital out there, please give a shout. I was not a doctor or a nurse or anyone doing those kind of things, but I was just doing clerical work. But still, these are my people, and I really appreciate what they're doing. So let's try to all raise some money, just whatever you can give, $1, $1,000, anywhere in between, But I think anything that you could give would help. And now I've done what I used to hate, which is talking a lot about donations and trying to get people to give money when I really just wanted to hear music. Let me check out some comments here. There's so many people. This is awesome. And let's see. People from Stockholm, Sweden. Claudia, thank you. That is really, really cool. Okay. My homeboy Daniel Mandelman from who played on the Jason Mraz album that I'm going to talk about. He's checking in. All right. So first of all, I hope everyone. Yeah, it's not really first of all. Whatever this is now, third of all, fifth of all, second of all. Who's counting? I hope everyone's doing all right during all this, and I hope everyone is staying safe, healthy. I hope none of you are sick. If any of you are, I hope that you get well really soon. And I just think we all have to stay positive. This is a really tough time for everyone. I can't imagine there's anyone who isn't affected by this, even, the 1%, not that we should be, feeling bad for them, but they're people too, right? So they might be feeling bad. But yeah, this is some serious stuff, and we all got to come together, do whatever you can every day to try to feel good, at least some of the time. Whether that's, I like to meditate, exercise, take a safe social distancing walk if you can, if it's not too crowded. Spend time with your family, but maybe not too much time. I've been doing a 1,000-piece puzzle. It started out as a family project, and my daughters bailed on me pretty quickly when they saw how difficult it would be. So during my free time, I've been doing a puzzle, which has been really fun. And it's a cats puzzle, and I love cats, so it all works out, and I'm going to get it done. I don't know how, but I'm somehow going to get it done. Let me check out some more comments. Victor Rice is writing in from Brazil. Victor is my homie, a very important part of the Easy Star All Stars. I'm going to talk about the history of the band a little later. Jim the Boss from Hoboken Hi-Fi, who he did his own live stream on this channel recently. He's checking in. David Barham, who also lives in Long Island like I do. What's up? My man Paul Shelik, who engineered and helped record a lot of Easy Star All Stars albums, is out there. He's also from Long Island. Long Island is in the house. Before I go any further, I want to thank Rootfire TV, all the people at Rootfire, Reed Foster, Evan, everyone who's involved. They're doing great stuff to help people communicate during this time when it's hard to communicate, and to get music out there, which is really, really special. And I'm really honored that they asked me to do this live stream. I also want to thank Ryan Sullivan from Sully Artist Services, who does a lot of my business development, and he's the one who helped me set all this up and advised me on this. So big up Sully, and all the other Sully Artist Services, massive. And of course, I want to big up all Easy Star crew all over the world, all the Easy Star All Stars, former members, current members, future members, my partners in Easy Star Records, Eric, Lam, and Ramey, all the interns who've ever worked with us, our distributors, our PR people, Justin Pietro at Soundwave Consulting, who does our digital marketing. Lots of great people make up the Easy Star team, so if I forgot you, then write a comment saying, yo, you forgot me, and then I'll try to shout you out. It's funny because I've never done this before. I see Jason Mraz, he does a weekly live stream every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. He does a great live stream. Check it out. Go to youtube.com/Jason Mraz. So that's his channel. And he's like, oh my God, there's so many comments. How do I read them all? And now I'm realizing it's not that easy, although he gets a lot more comments than me, because New York City health and hospital workers really need it. So let's check it. Oh, we got Danny Arbel from Houston, originally from Israel. My sister is saying hi from Seattle. Hi to my whole family out in Seattle. That's so cool. This is great because it's been a little difficult to communicate with people these days, and although Zoom has been an interesting new tool to do that. So it's really cool to talk to all of you, even though you can't really talk to me, but but I appreciate all the comments. And let's see who else is out there. Oh, Greg Stanley, who was one of my production assistants on the Jason Mraz album, and who was an intern plus for Easy Star Records for a long time. So anyway, what else am I going to talk about? Well, look, these are challenging times for all of us, of course, as I keep saying. But I try to be an optimist. And one really cool thing is today also is the release of my first single with Jason Mraz that I produced and co-wrote, and I played guitar on it, worked with a lot of great musicians. The song is called Look for the Good. And it really kind of sums up the attitude of no matter what, just try to find the good in any situation. It's difficult sometimes, but it's enriching to your life, and also try to look for the good in yourself. And the cover of the album actually includes a mirror-like surface, because we weren't going to put an actual glass mirror in every album cover. The idea is to look into it and try to find the good in yourself. And I hope everyone can do that. And so the song just came out today. It is, I like to think, a classic Jason Mraz song, but it's strictly roots reggae in terms of the music. And so far, I've gotten an amazing response. Besides my phone blowing up all day from people who know me, just on socials, here on YouTube. If you go to the video on Jason's page, there's just tons of comments, people saying like, wow, you really, you made my day, or you brought some light to the darkness. You made me cry. I really appreciate the positivity. All these really heartwarming comments. It almost brought me to tears, actually, looking at some of them, because to be able to affect people positively through music is a real privilege. It's a gift, and I'm very, very fortunate to be able to do that. So the Jason Mraz single's out today. Please listen to it on any streaming service, or of course you can buy the single on YouTube, on iTunes. You can buy the single on iTunes, which is cool. And the full album comes out June 19th of this year. And we had thought, I was actually going to be in Oceanside, California right now. Actually, today I was going to be in LA. We were going to be playing at a club called the Roxy. We were supposed to be recording more stuff with the whole band. And obviously things had to change, because of what's going on with coronavirus. We all have to adapt. And we thought over the next couple of months, we're going to be out there promoting. We were going to be playing on a bunch of different TV shows and doing, select live appearances. We have a whole tour set up, which I can't announce yet, but it may not happen when we think it's going to anyway. So things are changing, right, for everyone. So in the music world, we have to adapt to a new reality. So this is one of the ways I guess I can promote the release, as well as hopefully raising money for people who need it. I'm going to look at some more comments, and I got to get up all close because I'm not wearing my glasses. Rootfire is shouting out people for making donations. So now I will shout out if somehow I know you made a donation, although I can't really tell that from this. But if I found out you did, I'm going to shout out my partner, Lem, who made a donation. So that's great. I'm going to talk about Lem a little later in terms of the history of the Easy Star All-Stars. And Blake Taylor wants to be an Easy Star intern. So that's really cool, because since you can't come to the office because of social distancing, I guess you could be an intern all the way from San Diego. Is that where you are right now? I don't know. You tell me, Blake. And all right. So Claudia from Stockholm is saying that she's had the single on repeat since midnight last night when it came out in Sweden. And that is really, really cool. And MC Flo is in the house. She was one of the writers on Look for the Good and also on some other songs on the album. What's up, Abby? Okay, Blake, send in your resume. That's really cool. And all right, so right now we've got 43 people watching, which is cool because I don't know how many people could be watching, but at least it's intimate. It's like playing a small club show, right? Where everyone can really just get what you're doing. Now, speaking of playing a show, I was going to try to actually play some music during this live stream, but I couldn't figure out how to make it sound amazing. And I didn't want to just play stuff and it doesn't sound great because that's not how I roll. You know, I can't call myself a producer and then have bad sound quality. So I'm not really going to play music, but what I could try doing is I could try to play the song, a little bit of the song on my computer right now, and you guys tell me if you are hearing it. And Jim the Boss just sent in a donation. Thank you. Unless that was in response to Blake Taylor saying he sent in his resume. But Jim, that's cool. If you send in a resume that without a donation, hey, that's cool too, man. All right, so I'm going to try to play the song, and you guys tell me if you are hearing it in the comments.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone.
I'm glad people are hearing it.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate our love mistakes if there's a silver lining. You still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine.
All right, so that's just a little preview of the song. Thank you for all the comments about it. And you can hear it a lot better if you just get it yourself on Spotify or Tidal, Apple Music, iTunes, however you want to get it, and you get the full quality of it. So this song came about. It's an interesting story. Wow, my mouth is getting a little dry here. Pardon me. Before I continue, just if anyone is watching just on rootfire.net/TV, that's great. But if you want to leave comments, you have to then go log into YouTube to do that. So if anyone, a lot of people are texting me, or some people are texting me. I don't want to exaggerate. Some people are texting me saying, "Hey man, how do I comment?" So yes, some of those people might be above the age of 30. So that's how you do it. You have to be on YouTube. So I actually don't know how many people are watching because some people are watching on Rootfire TV. I hope so. So anyway, that song came about because First of all, I've done a lot of work on myself over many years to try to be a more positive person and to try to look for the good in everything. Um, and a few years ago, I heard a rabbi give a sermon. I don't remember which rabbi it was. And he talked about look for the good and you'll find the good. Look for the bad and you'll find the bad, which I just thought that is so true. I mean, if you look for the good in a situation, you're going to find the good. You're going to feel better. But if you're always looking like, oh, this is terrible, and you're complaining, you're probably going to stay negative, right? So I didn't know that, but that actually comes from the Jewish Bible, from the Book of Proverbs. So I kind of adopted that as my personal philosophy, that I'm going to look for the good in everything. So fast forward a couple of years, I'm working with Jason. I think even before we wrote a song about it, we were just hanging out talking, and I was like, yeah, I really try to look for the good in everything. And then I wrote some music, and I thought, I want to write a track that sounds like it could be a Jason Mraz track. So I wrote a very Jason Mrazzy sounding track, in my opinion, and I titled it "Look for the Good." I didn't really know what was going to happen with it, but I just thought this is going to be "Look for the Good." Sent it to Jason, and then I don't know, like a week or two later, he sends me back the song, which was amazing. And he really took the idea of "Look for the Good" and ran with it, and now we have this song that's so positive, and it acknowledges, if you once you get the song, you listen to it and you hear all the lyrics, it acknowledges that yes, sometimes things are bad and you got to deal with it. Sometimes it's okay to get mad and it's okay to be upset, but still, if we look for the good, then we can get some good out of it. And we also didn't know when we wrote and recorded this song that we were going to go into this crazy coronavirus crisis that's affecting all of us. So right now, it's like, unfortunately, a great time for this song to come out because we really do need people to look for the good. I'm just going to take a second to look at some more comments. All right. Go Feet Radio in New Zealand. They've been supporting me and Easy Star for a long time. Big up. What else we got? Look, this is great. Some people are talking to each other in the comments, which is really, really cool. Whoa, I can't read that fast, especially now without my glasses. But this is nice from Hannah Thomas. How would you describe working with Jason in one word? I don't have a good answer for that when I picked that comment, but one word, magical. Now that's a word that's the kind of thing Jason would say, but it really is like, I have certain abilities, talents. He has certain abilities and talents. Obviously, he's an amazing, amazing artist. But when we came together, I think we somehow made magic, where the best came out of both of us. I feel like this is one of the best things I've ever produced and co-written. Jason says it's like his favorite album he's ever done. So that's pretty amazing, to think about, because he's done some great work. And like, I think his song "I'm Yours" is maybe like the most downloaded song of all time or something. I heard that stat somewhere. So he knows what he's doing, and he's done some great stuff. But it's really cool to be able to help him do stuff that he loves so much. Ryan S., that might be my man Sully. Thank you for your donation. Let's see who else is out there. Water or vodka? That's a great question. Strictly water for me. I don't really drink. And I think you will live longer with water, although I understand why people are drinking vodka during this time. So let's go. Okay. I love the comments. Please keep them. Oh, my man Blake Taylor made a donation, and Hannah likes my choice of the word magic. So that's really cool. Nancy Jonab is donating and honoring her daughter, who is a frontline physician at Elmhurst Hospital. Wow, in Queens. I grew up in Queens, so I feel you. And definitely, let's honor all of the first responders, the frontline people who are dealing with this crisis. Again, if you just tuned in, I'm raising money for New York City health and hospital staff. 100% of any money that comes in is going to them. So please donate often and freely, or just once. That's cool. So what else can I talk about? Well, a lot of people ask me how I got into reggae. So that's a great question. I was really lucky to grow up in a very musical environment. My parents played all kinds of music all the time, and music was a super important part of my life from birth. And then we moved to New York City when I was 7 years old, and New York City is slightly more, diverse than most places you could live, and a lot of culture. And I remember, I don't know if this is a real memory or one of those things that you think you remember and it's not real, but to me it's a memory, which is I was 8 years old. I was in the car with my dad listening to the radio, and he was flipping around and some reggae came on, and I was like, Dad, what is this? And he said, yeah, it's reggae. And it might have been WLIB, which was an AM station in New York that I used to listen to. Could have been WBAI. It could have been WKCR, which I then wound up DJing at many years later because I had a reggae program or a couple of reggae programs. But anyway, I just remember that I heard reggae. Then when I got older and started school in Manhattan, met even a more diverse group of people. Now, although Queens is very diverse as well. And I was getting exposed to reggae, ska, two-tone ska, like second wave ska was very popular amongst the older, cool kids at my high school. And I started playing music and with my friends. Shout out to Michael Cooper if you're out there. And he had a guitar, and I go over to his house and fiddle around with the guitar. And I took a few lessons, and I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. And then I realized that playing guitar could be a great vehicle for writing songs. And that's how I learned to really express myself. It's like my favorite thing to do aside from being with my family and having fun in other ways. But I love to just write songs, So I digress. I got into reggae because I was hearing reggae from around me, from my friends, from the cool older kids at school. I had a cassette of Catch a Fire, the first Island Bob Marley and the Wailers record. And I used to listen to that and try to play along. And the reason reggae spoke to me is because I loved the music. Who doesn't love reggae? Well, unfortunately, a lot of people, but we're going to change that. Excuse me. That's just a dry throat. It's not does he have coronavirus cough? Because talking ain't easy. But I have a few water glasses lined up. Hopefully I'm going to get through. So anyway, the vibes of reggae really spoke to me. The lyrical content, which was a lot of lyrics about fighting against oppression. About standing up for equal rights and justice, as Peter Tosh would sing. And then I also realized that a lot of reggae lyrics were taken from Jewish sources, although then kind of through a prism of Rastafari and before that Christianity. So Bob Marley has plenty of lyrics that are straight out of the Jewish Bible. So does Dennis Brown. So do so many classic reggae singers, because the Rastafari religion, some people call it Rastafarianism, but I think I have a lot of Rasta friends who don't like any isms, so I call it Rastafari. A lot of the people, we're getting a visit from my daughter, Tali. She brought me more water. That's so nice. Thanks, baby. Now I have 4 glasses of water. So anyway, what was I saying? So Rastafari was very much informed by the churches in Jamaica in, let's say, like the 20s and 30s and 40s. And those churches were very informed by Jewish scripture, what non-Jews would call the Old Testament. So a lot of Jewish iconography, such as the Lion of Judah, a return to Zion, the idea of Davidic lineage or Solomonic lineage, which is the same. That was all part of reggae, so it all made sense to me, as a Jewish kid who loved music. So that's how I got into reggae. Let me just check some more questions. Gives me a little respite from talking, but not really, because I'm talking while I am looking at the questions, so I lose. All right, Ben Keeley is in the house, my old friend from high school days. He's now in Atlanta. Big up, Ben. And boy, he remembers my high school band, the Feds. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Ben. So let's get into some Easy Star kind of history. And again, please ask questions. So I was doing reggae, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, college, still doing reggae, but also I was really into R&B. And those were like my two favorite musics to write and play. But at a certain point in 1996, my R&B band that I was very serious about had folded for various reasons I'm not going to get into, but big up to all my former friends in Special Request if you're out there. I got together. I used to hang out with my very good friends, Eric Smith, Lem Oppenheimer, Rami Gerstein. We just hang out and listen to reggae. And we'd go to reggae shows and we'd see all these roots reggae artists, and we like dancehall too. But we just thought, there's not a lot of great reggae being made right now in Jamaica. Everything was like, it was still great stuff, but it was all drum machines, digital, not a lot of live musicianship. And lyrically, it was a lot of not the things that drew us to reggae. And in America, most of the reggae was just kind of like not great Bob Marley imitations. No offense to any people who were making reggae in the US 20-something years ago, but that's how we felt. So we're like, hey, let's do it ourselves. So we started Easy Star Records, yay. And so we've been around for a pretty long time. We have stuck around, which is pretty amazing, because I think a lot of record companies, especially small reggae labels, have come and gone since the time we've been around. And boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to jump around historically a little. I don't want to forget all these great questions that people are asking. But okay, so anyway, we started Easy Star Records, and because the advertisement for this said I was going to talk about the Easy Star All Stars, so that's what I'm going to do. So we started the label, and one of my jobs was to write and produce the music. Now we honestly didn't really know how to do all this stuff, but I had some studio experience from my music career already. I started writing songs in my bedroom. I guess I shouldn't give the address. That's just weird. But my bedroom in Manhattan, and came up with some rhythm tracks. And the very first single that we recorded, I think, I'm not sure. Okay, a couple of the first singles we recorded. One was Anything for Ja. Artist is Rob Simeon. You can still find that online. Anything for Ja, Rob Simeon. I wrote all the music, and we did the song together. And the band was me on all guitars and bass, Victor Axelrod, aka Tikla, on all the keys, and Franz Hilaire on drums and percussion. And that was kind of one of the first Easy Star All Stars sessions, right? And I honestly don't remember whose idea it was to call the band Easy Star All Stars, but I think all four Easy Star partners, Eric, Lam, and Rami, and myself, we all thought it'd be cool for branding to have a band, a house band, and the name Easy Star is in the name of the band. We didn't realize that so many people would screw up the name over the years. Like they call us Easy All Stars, or Easy Dub All Stars, or Easy Dub Stars All. But you know what? That's fine. People who care, they're going to remember the name. So Easy Star now I can't even say the band's name. That's pretty funny. Easy Star All Stars is what it is. And so every session we did, we were just making singles, and we hoped that it would culminate in an album, which it did. I would get together a different group of musicians, depending on, I don't know, what I thought would be good for the song, or sometimes the artist would have a certain musician they wanted to use. I was always playing guitar and sometimes bass, usually just guitar, and Victor Axelrod, aka Tikla, was always on keys. And then we worked with a bunch of different people. Noah Shackman on bass. He and I and Victor and I, we all played in a band, and Franz on the floor. Wow, the four of us all played in a band called No Shadow Kick in the late '90s. No Shadow Kick fans in the house? Probably not, because we didn't stick around too long. But hopefully you're out there. So Noah, who now is the Grand Poobah at the Daily Beast, also I think he's like the editor in chief. He was a bassist back then. I mean, he still plays bass, I'm sure. Noah, if you're out there, say what's up. So Noah played bass on some of our early recordings. Who else played on early Easy Star All Star stuff? Well, we had, let's see, Pupa Nas T on drums. He was from this band called the A-Team, which was one of the best house bands in New York City in the reggae scene back in the days. Val Douglas on bass on some songs. He played on some Bob Marley stuff that you probably know, and he currently, for a long time, has been touring with the Scatolites, one of the original ska band from Jamaica. Who else? Let's see. I wrote some notes. Let me actually look at them and see who else I could say. Oh, Ross Barnabas, who was an engineer at Channel One Studios in Jamaica in the 70s. My favorite studio, I think. And he engineered a bunch of tracks for us. And one day I couldn't find a drummer, and he's like, yeah, I play drums. I haven't played in years. He didn't even have drumsticks. I got him a pair of drumsticks. He sat behind the drums and played the best reggae drums I've ever heard. And he's like, yeah, I haven't played in 10 years. So Ross Barnabas, he is back in Jamaica. I hope you're well if you're out there, Barney. We had a great horns section on a lot of our early stuff called the Burning Brass. They used to play with someone named Burning Spear. There's Jenny Hill on saxophone, who still tours with East Star All Stars, which is really cool. Pam Fleming on trumpet, and Nilda Richards on trombone. Hail up to the Burning Brass. So we were making some great music. Our first show was in 1998. We did a release party for Easy Star Volume 1, our very first Easy Star Records release. That was at the Lion's Den in New York City. And we backed up most of the artists who sang on the album. Sister Carol, Sugar Minot, Rankin Joe, the aforementioned Rob Simeon, Ruff Scott, who still tours with East Star All Stars. Ruff, if you're out there, hail up. Lots of great artists. Patrick Jr., Gary Pine, so many great people. So we did a big show at Lions Den. I think we played for like 4 hours. It was incredible. It was I was on guitar, Victor Axelrod on keys, Homar Webster also on keys, Noah Shackman on bass, Franz, our original drummer, was playing percussion, and Digital Don on drums. Man, I haven't seen him in so long. But it was a great show, great event. So we kept recording, and then some more live opportunities came up. Oh, Victor Rice is out there. What's up, Victor? Victor Rice. I'm going to talk about you in about a minute, so that's pretty cool. Oh, and Pupa Nasti, Anastas Hackett is out there. Yes, big up. So this is so cool to be able to communicate with so many people at one time. It's really gratifying. So yeah, Jen Oppenheimer in the house, remembering the great show at the Lions Den. And of course, we had, I'm going to sidetrack, we also had a party every Tuesday night for, I don't know, someone tell me, Eric Smith, if you remember, I think it was like, did it go for like 7 years, 9 years, something crazy. Every Tuesday night at this bar called the Black Star Bar on 2nd Avenue between 5th and 6th Street. We had a free reggae party, no admission, and it's just bringing together a lot of the reggae community from like Brooklyn and the Bronx would come down, and then all the village, the Manhattan crowd of hipsters, and come together, listen to reggae every Tuesday night. It was an amazing scene. I think a lot of people made a lot of friends there, which is really nice. So yeah, Eric says 7 years. Okay. So, and Suzanne used to hang out there. What's up, Suzanne? At the Black Star Bar. She called it her second home, which I hope is not really true. But so anyway, getting back to the history of the East Star All Stars. we wound up doing some more live shows. It's all pre-Dub Side of the Moon, okay? Because there's this great sound system called Twin Sound. Teo and Kiande, what's up if you're out there? And they, after the great Augustus Pablo, one of my favorite producers and reggae musicians, passed away in 1999, they organized a show, a tribute show to him, and they asked East Star All Stars to be the band. And that was amazing because me and Victor Axelrod were both huge Augustus Pablo fans. We still are. And so we put together a band for that where we learned a whole bunch of Augustus Pablo songs and played them all live. Who else was in that band? Well, Victor Rice on bass, Eddie Ocampo on drums. Both Victor and Eddie would go on to play on other Easy Star recordings. We had Fernando Velez on percussion. He was an important member of Antibalas and then the Dap Kings. And also Martin Perna on saxophone, also Antibalas, and Michael Wagner on trombone, also from the whole Daptone crew. And he also wound up going on to play on some very important Easy Star stuff. And we also had Vic Ruggiero on keys as well. So we had 3 Victors in the band and 2 Michaels. That's pretty cool. Out of 8 people. No, 7 people? What? Okay. So anyway, so we did this great show, and Delroy Washington, who recorded with Augustus Pablo way back in the days, actually did came up and did some songs with us on vocals. And he actually just passed away from COVID-19 like a week or 2 ago, which is really sad. Which is a great chance for me to remind you guys to please donate some money. I'm collecting money for New York City Health and Hospital workers. So donate what you can on the link on the rootfire.net/TV page. So we did that Augustus Pablo show. We loved it. It was at this club called The Cooler on 14th Street between 9th and 10th Avenue, or maybe it was even west of 10th Avenue. I don't know. Someone please remind me. Great club. And then we did another Augustus Pablo tribute because the first one was so successful. Then we did a Jackie Mitu tribute. He was an amazing writer and keyboardist who was instrumental, no pun intended, in a lot of classic reggae, and who also passed away. So we did a tribute to him. We did a tribute to Dennis Brown, one of my favorite singers, who also, well, so many people passed away in 1999, I guess, and 2000. Then we wound up doing a few live shows, backing up some amazing singers, such as Sugar Minot, who we did a lot of work with at Easy Star. He unfortunately died 10 years ago, but he was very important to the history of Easy Star Records. We did an amazing show with him at the same club, The Cooler, on 14th Street. Does anyone remember what avenues? Okay, Lem says between 9th and Washington. That's Lem's old neighborhood, so he would know. So we backed up Sugar Minot. We did a set of all of his earliest songs, and it turns out he hadn't sung a lot of them live in a few decades, and during the show I had to mouth the words to him on some songs, so he couldn't remember the words, which is pretty funny. But that was a great show. And on that show, we had Ross Ire on bass, Renard Shai, who also wound up being an important member of the East Star All Stars post-Dub Side of the Moon. He played bass on that one, and Errol Campbell on drums, who Ire and Errol and myself, we all used to tour backing up the Meditations, a seminal reggae harmony trio. So that's where I knew those guys from. And then we did another show backing up Johnny Osborne, another amazing reggae singer. That one was the same lineup except Derek Bourne on bass. Hail up, Derek. So lots of great stuff happening for Easy Star All Stars. We were putting out some crucial singles and album and doing some live shows, but to a somewhat limited audience. Lem's reminded me to big up Vincent Hans, who was the original DJ at Easy Star Reggae Tuesdays, and he's a very important person in the New York reggae scene. Haven't talked to him in a while. And then the next DJ to come along and be like a permanent fixture at Easy Star Reggae Tuesdays was Fidel Luna, DJ Twice, one of my favorite people. No one knows reggae better than Fidel. That's all I have to say. Glass drop. No. So let me just check out some more questions before I keep blabbering on. Okay, David Parnes in the house. He asked a great question, but I'm going to try to remember it for a little later, so I can stick with this history stuff. Because I think someone asked me a while ago, how did Dub Side of the Moon happen? And that's obviously was the start of something, a whole new era for Easy Star All Stars. And the story behind that, correct me if I'm wrong, Easy Star partners, my partner Lem Oppenheimer was a big Pink Floyd fan, and also obviously a reggae fan. We're doing Easy Star here. And he had the idea one day when he's walking around to that, like, wow, man, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd could sound really cool and dub. So he told us, and so initially I was skeptical. One, I wasn't a big Pink Floyd fan. I don't know if I'd ever really listened to the entire album in one sitting. And, I knew the big songs because it's hard to grow up in the United States or some other places in the world and not be familiar with Pink Floyd. But I think the first song I tried to write an arrangement for in my little bedroom studio was Breathe, basically the first song on the album. And I wrote a little arrangement, I don't know, I programmed some drums, played some bass, some keys, maybe some guitar. And I thought, well, you know what, this kind of works. And I played it for everyone else. And I was like, yeah, this kind of works. So I wrote another arrangement, and then we decided, you know what, let's just do it. So we decided to do a reggae reinterpretation of Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It took us about 3 years to actually do it because we recorded kind of piecemeal, but we got it done. And we recorded, my co-producer on that was Victor Axelrod, who I've mentioned many times before. He had a great studio in his house in Brooklyn. He still does. And that's where we recorded a lot of it. We recorded the basic tracks up at Ira Heap's studio in Mount Vernon. I think Ira used to have a store called Jammyland on East 3rd Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan, the best reggae record store in Manhattan. So on that record, I was playing guitar. Victor played all the keys. Patrick Dower from one of my favorite bands, The Boilers, from back in the 80s, he played drums. And Victor Rice on the bass. We have Michael Wagner on trombone, Jenny Hill on saxophone, and a few other small musical contributions for some other people. And put it all together, mixed it, and put it out to the world. And we didn't know what was going to happen. We thought we did something really cool. Didn't know what was going to happen, and then it just really took off. People responded to it so positively. And I still remember I was at my job. This is post working at a hospital, but I was at a different day job because, hey, you got to do what you got to do. And I knew that we were going to get featured on All Songs Considered, a very influential music show on NPR, National Public Radio. And I was sitting there watching the Amazon rankings because this is before iTunes even existed, or at least before anyone cared. I was looking at the Amazon.com album rankings. And as the day went on, because of these broadcasts on various NPR stations featuring Dub Side of the Moon, our ranking went up and up and up. And eventually we got all the way up to number 3 on like the pop album, on all album charts. It wasn't reggae, I think like Celine Dion and the Dixie Chicks were the only other albums ahead of us. So that was pretty cool, and to be able to see in real time, like, wow, people are ordering the album, so boom. So that really started taking off, and then I'm like, well, I guess we better put together a live show. So that is kind of like phase 2 of Easy Star All Stars as a live band. Some people from phase 1 era weren't available or whatever. So the band I put together for these initial shows, talk amongst yourselves for a second. Was myself on guitar, Ross Ire on the bass, Ivan Katz, a very old friend of mine, Primordial Source, my favorite hip-hop, local hip-hop band back in the days. Ivan Katz on drums, Jeremy Mage on the keys, I think our very first show, Michael Wagner did play trombone, but then he was soon replaced by Buford O'Sullivan. Buford, if you're out there, give me a shout. Jenny Hill, still on saxophone. We had Kirsty Rock on vocals, who contributed to the album Dub Side of the Moon. She sang Great Gig in the Sky, and now she's cursed with having to sing it live all the time, which it's a really difficult song, but she does a great job. And Ruff Scott on DJ vocals for those early shows. And we did a small East Coast tour, and of course a New York show, and it was felt great, and we could see the audience going nuts for this stuff. We really struck a chord. So like what we were able to do with Dub Side of the Moon was to create reggae, authentic reggae, authentic reggae that could appeal to non-reggae fans, which was really cool. And we had like all these message boards used to be the thing back then. And there were all these Pink Floyd message boards. And before the album came out, a lot of people were, Pink Floyd fans were like, this album is going to be terrible. Wow. After the album came out, excuse me, a lot of these same fans were like, wow, you know what? I never thought I'd say this, but I really love this. And now I actually think I like reggae, you know? So we broke down barriers, which is really, really cool. That's what music should be about, you know, bringing people together. Wow. Talking for however 52 minutes straight already. Oh my God, no wonder my throat is so dry. Dub Side of the Moon, we started doing national touring. Then there's even demand for international touring. Now, at this point, I actually left the band, the live band. I wanted to just focus on studio production because we were doing, you know, well over 100 shows a year for a few years. Didn't want to just be on the road all the time. I wanted to be in the studio making our next albums, such as Radio Dread, which a lot of people love. Well, I think a lot of people love all our albums. And then after that was Easy Star's Lonely Hearts Dub Band, which is a tribute to Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles. And then Easy Star's Thriller, tribute to Michael Jackson's Thriller. And I'm actually working on the next one now. Took me long enough, right? So go ahead and put in your guesses or requests. Sorry, it's not going to be Rush. The Rush fans out there are going to be very disappointed. Just looking at, I'm getting all these texts, and it's hard not to look at them. And what if one of them is like, "Hey, your fly is undone," you know? So that's why I keep looking down sometimes. Anyway, so the band wound up playing all over the world. We've played in, I think, over 40 countries on 6 continents. I mean, there's not much demand for music in Antarctica anyway. And we brought positive music. I don't want to say reggae music. We have brought reggae music, but we brought positive music to thousands and thousands of people. And many people obviously have enjoyed listening to our recordings as well. And we worked with so many great guest artists, singers. We've also done a couple albums, well, an EP and a full-length album of original Easy Star All-Stars material. First one's called Until That Day, that's the EP. And then First Light is our original album. I really recommend checking those out if you haven't already. I love the stuff. I'm biased, okay, but I think it's great stuff. And Ben Keeley is suggesting Tapestry by Carole King as our next album. And actually, I have thought about that. I really think it could be very cool, but not everyone agrees. Okay, so, awesome. Nancy Natter is out there. She's an important songwriting co-writer with Jason Mraz. I'm going to talk about Jason Mraz some more, of course. And Victor Rice, why are you making fun of Rush fan? Come on, man. Don't do that. No, it's all in good jest. Victor, I miss working with you, man. I mean, it's tough. Well, now no one can really work together anyway, since we're all social distancing. But Victor has played and mixed on a lot of E-Star All-Stars stuff. We actually mixed Radio Dread down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where Victor has been living for a long time now. And it's amazing that we actually finished mixing the album because we spent so much time just cracking each other up, right? So it was hard to get any work done. Um, so let me talk about the current state of the music industry. David Barnes, that's what I wanted to look at. He said, "What would your aspirations be now if you were starting out all over? But I still want to be a producer." Wow, that's a crazy hypothetical. I don't know. I mean, yes, the music industry has changed so much, and I feel like I'm always learning. I feel like with this Jason Mraz album, I'm really coming into my own as a producer, even though I've been doing it for so many years. I feel like I'm finally doing it on an even higher level, and so I still love producing. So I still think I'd want to be a producer. I don't know. Who knows how it would pan out, though. But anyone out there who wants to get into the music business, just do it with a grain of salt or paprika or whatever you want to put on it. But it's a tough business. But every business is a tough business now. I think my parents might be watching. If you are, thank you for the musical education, and for creating me. So let me talk about Jason Mraz. One of the coolest guys I ever met. And maybe you could tell that just from listening to his music or if you've seen him on TV or whatever. But he's just a genuine, nice, down-to-earth guy. And this project came together in a magical way. I had actually met with people at his label at the time, Atlantic Records, in 2009. And I met with his A&R person. We talked about me doing some remixes for Jason because Jason was a fan. I don't know if he said specifically of Easy Star, but of reggae. And this A&R guy just thought it was a great idea. And we had a bunch of meetings. And I honestly don't remember why I never did that remix, but never did the remix. And then fast forward to many years later, 2018. And this is great. This is answering Naima's question. Someone from Atlantic Records reached out again, a different person, because there's a lot of turnover at record labels, except Easy Star. We're consistent. And saying, hey, Jason has a new single. Do you want to do a remix? And of course I said yes. And the song is called Have It All, another really positive, awesome song. And I did a really fun remix. I actually wound up, I'll talk about remixes more if people want, but I played all the instruments except for some horn section I hired. And I used sampled drums, but made them sound really live. And I played all the other instruments, and we called it a Michael Goldwasser and Easy Star All Stars remix, because I always want to big up Easy Star All Stars. And Jason loved the remix, which was really, really cool. Atlantic Records didn't push it too hard, whatever, but Jason loved it. The thing is, when you're dealing with major record labels, they're not people sometimes. And I was like, hey, can you put me in touch with Jason? Because, they were sending me emails forwarded from Jason, but with Jason's email taken out. And just saying, Jason, be like, Michael, I love what you did. It's so, he was getting into the details of it. He really loved it. So I wanted to actually just talk to him. And finally, I just pestered them enough. And they're like, all right. So they put me in touch with Philly Brental, who is Jason's right-hand woman. She's his communications director. I was dealing with her today, actually. What's up, Philly, if you're watching? And Philly put me in touch with Jason, and we emailed back and forth. And I said, hey, next time you're in New York, let's get together. A couple months later, he emailed me saying, I'm going to be in New York next week. And so I said, great, let's go out to dinner. I took him to one of my favorite restaurants. It's called Sion Cafe on St. Nicholas Avenue between 148th and 149th up in Harlem. And we had like a 3.5-hour dinner of Ethiopian food and just talking about so many different things. And we realized we had so many similar interests. And by the end of that dinner, I think I had sold him on the idea of me producing a whole album of a whole new Jason Mraz album, and which was pretty amazing. And it took a while to work out all the details, let our lawyers deal with that stuff. And then last February, so it's 2019, went out to Southern California, where he lives, to visit family, but also he invited myself and my wife and my kids over to his farm that he lives on. He lives on an avocado and coffee farm. And we spent the day with him and his wife and her in-laws. I mean, his in-laws, Christina's parents. What's up, Christina, if you're watching? And the vibes were just great. And then once I got back to New York, started working on the album. I wrote a bunch of arrangements and we put it all together. And Jason and I sent demos back and forth. And I wrote the music and the idea for Look for the Good. And that developed into a song that we kind of, even from an early point, thought, you know what, this could be a single, right? And then I flew out to California again last August. I put together a team of musicians I wanted to work with. Hopefully some of you are watching right now. So I got together some people who are from kind of the East Star family. John Asher Henry on drums from the Expanders. Also from the Expanders, Chiquis Lazoya. Roger Rivas from the Agrolites in Long Beach Dub All-Stars. He played organ. And Roger is doing a live stream today starting at 6 o'clock New York time, I think. So, holy cow. Yeah, so that's, maybe I'm wrong about the time. But anyway, check the rootfire.net/TV page and you'll know what song. So Roger's doing his own live stream if you feel like spending several hours of listening to live streams today. And who else? Stephen Sukari from New Kingston. Big up New Kingston. He played guitar, as did I. And then some musicians that Jason had worked with also were part of the band. We also had another drummer, Tamir Barzilai, and on bass, Dre De Santana, and on keys, my man Daniel Mandelman, who was on here earlier. Hopefully he's still out there. He just had a baby, so mazel tov. And Raining Jane, a great singing group who Jason's been working with for many years. They did almost all the backing vocals. Mona, Chaska, Mai, and Becky. And Molly Miller played some lead guitar. Amazing guitarist. On horns, we had the Groove Line horns, Carlos Sosa, Fernando Castillo, Fernie, and Rallo. And the various other musicians who contributed. There was a gospel choir who we overdubbed. We spent a couple of weeks just laying down basic tracks, all live in the studio. Basically, like 6 of us were playing live at the same time, which is how music always used to be made, but now isn't always done that way. And we had, Root Fire tells me Roger Rivas will be doing his at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So you can take a break if you want to watch both of us. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so we recorded at Jason's studio on his farm. Amazing vibes. Jeff Berkeley was the engineer and his brother James assisted. Lots of important people who helped out. E.T. Ettore, Jason's production manager and front of house guy, and one of the sweetest people I've ever met. He was very helpful. Brian Spawn provided the drums. Check out Spawn Drums if you're a drummer and you're looking for a new kit. Boy, I know I'm probably, Matt Swanson, Jason's tour manager. He helped arrange accommodations for everybody. Wow, lots more people are making donations. Victoria K, thank you. Gregory S, that might be Greg Stanley. Victor Rice, who also did a great live stream on this very channel, Root Fire TV, last week, I believe. So please make a donation if you can. All the money goes to New York City Health and Hospital staff. I used to be one of them. Now I'm just making music, but they're on the front lines taking care of people, and so they need our help. Anyway, back to Jason Mraz album. So we recorded the whole album and did some overdubs over the ensuing months, and then pretty quickly, bam, mixed it with Scott Jacoby at Usonia Studios in Manhattan. Scott's an amazing producer, artist, musician, and especially mix engineer. And he's won a Grammy, I think at least one, maybe two. He definitely got a Grammy for the Vampire Weekend. Weekend in the Vampire in the City. I don't even remember the name of their album. Sorry, Vampire Weekend, and also John Legend. You guys probably heard of him. Scott mixed the album. I was there the whole time, and it was great fun. And by the end of 2019, we pretty much had our finished album. Let me backtrack a little. We have some really cool guest artists on the album. Some of you might know this already from looking at socials because Jason revealed the track listing. First of all, Sister Carol, who appeared on Easy Star Records' very first album, is on Jason's album. It was so cool for me to bring them together. I turned Jason on to Sister Carol, about a year ago, and he really loved her music. And then we were trying to find a guest artist for a track called Time Out, and suggested Sister Carol. It worked out great, perfect vibes. One of Jason's things is trying to bring attention to the contributions of women in the world. We have a song called Wise Woman on the album as well. And so it was great to have a female guest artist representing reggae like that, representing Jamaica. And another guest artist was Tiffany Haddish. Now, many of you don't realize that Tiffany can rap. She's not just a stand-up comedian, movie star who seems to be in like 4 or 5 movies a year, and television star, Last OG, and Kids Say the Darndest Things. So Tiffany, her tour photographer, Jen Rosenstein, J-Ro, if you're out there, what's up? And she's also a great friend with great friends with Jason and also his photographer, and she made the hookup. And we went into a studio this past January. So we weren't finished with the album completely in December, sorry. We went to a studio in LA with Tiffany, and she laid down this rap that was written by Abby Dorsey, aka MC Flow. It was great working with her. She was super cool, down to earth, like most movie stars, I'm sure. We had a really, really fun time, and she did a great job. And then my 2 amazing daughters also rap on the song. They're kind of mixed in with Tiffany, to support her vocals. So that was really cool. So Talia and Sivan, thank you again for your contributions. I will never forget you. Even if you didn't do this, I would never forget you. But anyway, so Sister Carol and Tiffany Haddish representing for the women on this album. It's out on BMG Records. Jason left Atlantic Records and wanted to sign a distribution and marketing deal with a label that give him a little more freedom, a little more. Well, certainly we had complete creative freedom when we made this album, which was awesome. So BMG, big up to Thomas and Hartwig, Cindy, everyone there, Jamie doing a great job. I mean, it's just beginning. The album comes out in 2 months, June 19th, and we're going to do a lot of work so that we can get it to as many people as possible, and spread the positive vibes. So the album itself is also called Look for the Good. It is, I can't say strictly reggae because there's a ska song on there and a rocksteady song. So, but it's basically Jason really loves reggae, and it fit really well. It wasn't weird, like, oh, Paris Hilton has a reggae song, like back then. Feel weird even referencing that, but Jason has been a reggae fan for a long time, and his songs work as reggae. I'm biased. I produced this stuff. I co-wrote some of it, but it really, I think it sounds like a Jason Mraz album that happens to be reggae. And I'm really hoping people are gonna love it. I'm hoping that it's gonna bring reggae to more ears. People who might not necessarily listen to reggae will get turned on to reggae. And I'm hoping to bring Jason Mraz to more ears too. Fran Chin, who's a DJ down in Jamaica, she said she's going to be playing the first single, Look for the Good, on her show tonight, which is pretty amazing to think of a song that Jason and I co-wrote with other people, and that I produced, that we just recorded last year, and boom, it's getting played in Jamaica, which is, the origin of all reggae music. And, I hope that all U.S. reggae artists give respect and give thought to the fact that reggae started out in Jamaica, in Jamaica. And Jamaican reggae is important, and Jamaican reggae artists need to be supported. So I'm going to scroll back through some comments and see if I'm missing anything that people said that I should mention. One thing I want to mention again is please donate if you can. I know it sounds annoying, but it's my old radio roots. Let's see if there's any more suggestions for the next Easy Star All Stars album. That would be cool. Oh, that's cool. Naima's saying that we love reggae a lot in France, and that's awesome. We are hoping to tour behind the album. We're going to tour behind the album. We're just not sure exactly when, But I gotta believe that France is on the table. I think everywhere where Jason has played before, there's probably some demand for him. I know there was a ton of social media responses from people in various parts of Asia today, talking about the album, because it came out stroke of midnight today, and that happened a lot earlier in East Asia. So I know he's got a lot of fans over there. The important thing right now is just to keep people's spirits uplifted if we can, and those of us who make music, we have the ability to do that through making positive music. That's not to say we shouldn't also make music that decries the terrible things that are going on right now and the way our governments are responding to things or not really responding to things. There's a place for that too, but we're trying to look for the good. Excuse me. Wow, in an hour and 13 minutes of talking, I've only got through 2 glasses of water. But I hope I won't need to sing an opera tonight or anything, because I don't think I could do that. Okay, oh, Blake brought up something great, very cool in the comments. It's maybe some people don't know, which is that when we did Radio Dread, which was our version of Radiohead's OK Computer, the reason we had any the first connection was that we found out that Radiohead had been playing Dub Side of the Moon over the PA system when they were on tour, before they went on or after they went on. And it was maybe someone from their sound crew, but it turns out we found out that Radiohead themselves were fans of Radio Dread. Of Dub Side of the Moon. So when we started working on Radio Dread, which was a crazy challenge because it's a very complicated album with lots of different time signatures in the songs. And lyrically, it's way out there. We sent a couple of demos to Radiohead, to their management, just to see if they were feeling it. And I think the response was something like, "Hey, if the rest of the album is this good, then we're golden." So I was like, "All right, that's cool." And they did turn out to love the album. Tom York even talked about it from the stage at a concert in Philadelphia. And they invited us. Eric Smith and I went to see them at the theater at Madison Square Garden, for you old school people, the Felt Forum. And that was really cool, and we got to meet some of the guys backstage. So anyway, I digress. What else? What other questions do people have? My sister is reminding me that she saw my high school band, the Feds, at CBGB. Thank you, Beth. And that is cool. CBGB was such an important part of any kid who grew up in New York who loved music, which I think is like, how could there be kids who don't love music? I guess these days of TikTok, maybe there are kids who don't really care about music, but back then, everyone loved music, and you wanted to go see live bands, not just famous bands, but your local bands, and CBGB was one of the greatest places because they would have matinees where non-legal age kids could go, and and not just the musicians playing the music, but the fans could get in. So yeah, spent plenty of time at CBGB's back in the day. Let's see what else we got. Wow. Okay. Nancy Jonap is saying that her daughter's father has been playing my remix of Have It All on both of his radio shows. What? On WBAI and WUSB. So, Nancy, you got to tell me who that is, because if somehow that is Kibret, that would be pretty amazing. But just tell me. And oh yeah, my man Danielle is reaching out again with a little Hebrew. That's always cute. One of the greatest things about making this album is I met so many great people, made new friends. I feel like Jason's extended family is my extended family now. You know, Jason himself has become a great friend. You know, they're all. He's just an amazing person. I know it sounds kind of corny for me to keep saying that, but he's such a great guy who really cares about people. You know, he's you know, very involved with philanthropy. He has the Jason Mraz Foundation. He raises money for the arts. He has a program called Shine. That's an arts for kids show, like a whole performance they did. Thankfully, before coronavirus stopped all live performances, it was in February. San Diego, he's done a bunch of things with this program called Spark, SPARC. It's based in Richmond, Virginia, where he grew up. And it's all about inclusiveness and includes kids that have various disabilities, because anyone, I think everyone has music inside them. In our society, Western society, we don't always let people express it. But I think if you can access the music inside people, it can really enrich their lives and everybody's lives. And that's one of the things Jason has been doing with these programs for kids. Dave Parnes bigging up the bathrooms at CBGB's, of course. And Cheryl Burke is saying that many of us from the Jason Mraz tribe are here right now. That means a lot to me. You know, especially since I was supposed to be out in California with the Jason Mraz tribe at this moment, you know, so it's kind of funny. Oh, okay. Nancy's telling me that Lister is her daughter's father. Wow. I haven't seen Lister in a long time. That is really cool. I don't know if Eric Smith is still on here, but one time Eric and I went on to Lister's program, the WBAI, and we had to be at the station in Lower Manhattan at, I think, 5 a.m. And it was crazy because it's the financial district. There were like almost no people around at all, except maybe some garbage men or something. And it's already kind of weird and isolated and deserted down there. Excuse me. So that was pretty interesting going on Lister's show. And Nancy, just if you could hail up Lister for me, that would be really cool. And I would love to get him the new music. Because even though Jason Mraz is obviously, you know, a relatively large artist in the firmament of stars, of artists out there, that didn't come out too well, but hey, this is still about grassroots, you know, like I want people, I don't want this to, one of the reasons Jason left a major label to go to, well, I mean, BMG is a very big label, but it's a very big independent label as opposed to Atlantic Records being part of the Warner family, which is all good. Everyone's putting out great music all over the world. But one of the reasons he wanted to do that was to get a little more in touch with the grassroots, you know? So local DJs are so important to spreading music. And especially in these days and times, we need music more than ever. I don't know. I know some people are like, well, not as many people are listening to the radio because they're not commuting, but I'd like to think people are still listening to the radio at home. Radio is a big part of my growing up. My parents exposed me to so much music, not just from the record collection we had, but also from radio. And I love radio. I still listen to radio. I hope you guys do too. And what? Oh, my man, John Asher, the drummer from the Jason Mraz album. He's saying, how did Look for the Good become that song's title? Well, Asher, it looks like you may have missed earlier in this stream. So I'm not going to bother everyone with the long story again, but basically it's my philosophy to look for the good in everything and everyone, and just no matter what the situation, try to find a positive. And that's how that came about. And oh, my daughter Sivan is saying hi, but doesn't want to be seen. Okay, little message from my littlest daughter. Oh, I'm not supposed to say she was here, so everyone pretend she wasn't here. All right. Giving me a message from my wife. Anyway, Asher, thanks for the question. Boom. So, Eric Smith gives a great question. Yeah, Eric just made me laugh more than anyone's made me laugh so far. So thank you. He said, "What was the best thing about working with Asher, and the worst?" Asher was great. That's all I can say. And you know what? There's so many great drummers here because Nasty is still here. He is blessing up Lister. And so yes, Lister, you got a lot of fans out here, not just me. Also Nasty, Popa Nasty, who is also a great producer, especially he's done a lot of great soca. If anyone out there needs a soca producer, look up Popa Nasty. And what else? Okay. All right, someone's saying it's Ad Crung Girl 46. If you would tell me what your full name is, I'll address you that way. But saying the song comes in perfect timing, right? Because we need to look for the good right now. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I know how hard it is. And even me being I think a very positive person, it's still hard to look for the good sometimes. But there's a silver lining, but you still have to find it. That's one of the lyrics from the song. So I encourage everyone to check out the song, share with other people. Feel free to actually download it on iTunes. I think also you could pre-order the whole album now. That's so cool. And if you pre-order the album, then you get the song. You can hear that song right now. I think they call it instant grat, which is such a sad state of affairs because instant gratification is not necessarily a good thing. But anyway, yes, you can check out the song right now and check out and pre-order the album so that you get it the day that it comes out. You'll have it. And wouldn't that be so cool if a reggae album or reggae ska / rocksteady album did really well in the larger pop market? I think that'd be really cool. Of course, I would think that because I produced it, but I think it'd be great for reggae music, which I think many people watching this, listening to this, care about right now. So, wow. Okay. Hotman 19 is asking what's my favorite release of 2020 so far. Wow, that's such a great question. Have I even really paid attention to any new music in 2020? I'm going to say, wow, I'm on the spot here. Well, look, Easy Star always puts out great music. Victor Rice, who was on before, maybe still is. He has a new song from his upcoming Easy Star album. The album's called Drink. The song, I don't even know how to pronounce it because my Portuguese is terrible. Is it Saudade? I don't know. Just made a fool of myself to all you Portuguese speakers, but check out that song. And of course, yes, we have Jen Oppenheimer reminded me of the Mortimer release, Lightning. He's an amazing roots singer from Jamaica in the tradition of all my favorite roots singers. He put out an EP with us. Hopefully the album is forthcoming. Really great roots stuff. Amazing production from Winter James. There's a lot of great reggae going on in Jamaica right now. We have a new album from Jesse Royal coming up. We have a new album from a group from the US called The Late Ones. That's hip hop and reggae mixed together in a very special way. They're an amazing group. Not sure when that's going to come out yet. We're still working on that, but big up The Late Ones. They did a Root Fire TV live stream as well a couple weeks ago. So big up to them. Sully is reminding me that Mortimer is quality. Thank you. And Eric Smith is as you can see, Asher, if you're still on, he's saying he's a huge Asher fan. That's nice. Oh, okay. So Amy from Adirondacks. All right, cool. I was actually born in the mountains myself, the Appalachian Mountains. Many people don't know that about me. Why would you? But yes, I was born in West Virginia. And now you can all sing the John Denver song in your heads or out loud. I can't hear you. That's cool. Just trying to think if there's anything else to go over that I really wanted to say. Any reminders from anybody who knows me who's like, yo, you should have said that? Feel free, because I don't want to keep you guys much longer. It's been almost an hour and a half, which is incredible. And it's incredible that I'm still talking. But I hope it's been entertaining and fun for you guys. And please donate whatever you can. Even $1 is something for New York City health and hospital workers, because we need to help these people who are really putting their lives at risk and spending so much time away from their families just to help people who are sick right now. So big up to all health and hospital workers. And check out all of Easy Star Records catalog, especially Easy Star All Stars. I bet a lot of you have Easy Star All Stars music already in your catalogs, but please check it out. If you don't, listen to it, stream it, buy it. It's all good. And check out the new Jason Mraz album, Look for the Good, which comes out June 19th. And the single is out now, also called Look for the Good. I produced the whole album, including the single. I co-wrote Look for the Good, along with Rainy Jane, Abby Dorsey, and Jeff Berkeley, and Jason Mraz, of course. He was very important for every song on the album. There's another song on the album that I co-wrote that I really love. It's called DJ FM AM J Jason. And if anyone can guess what that is an acronym for, DJ FM AM J Jason, post it here. I would love to know. And what else? Oh, Ben Keeley recommending Eat a Peach by the Allman Brothers. That's very interesting. I just saw a documentary about the Allman Brothers on TV one night when I just wanted to cuddle with my cat and I couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, that would be a tough one, but it's an interesting idea. Thank you, Ben. And looks like Claudia has the right idea about the title of the song, as does Ellen. So I want to thank everyone for their time, spending so much time with me. I don't know how many people it is, because again, I don't see the numbers from the Rootfire TV side. But I've enjoyed all your comments, and I appreciate you listening to me. I know time is your greatest wealth, and for you to spend an hour and a half of it listening to me talk, I'm very, very honored. Yeah, Nancy, you got it. So thank you again. Please donate. If you also look, of course, if you don't live in New York City and you don't feel like donating to such a local cause, just think about donating to whoever your local health and hospital workers are, or donating to anybody. Just help people however you can. We're all in this together. We're going to look for the good together. We're going to help each other through this. There's going to be much more music. There's going to be live music again, and I'm really excited because I'm now a member of Jason's band, and I'm his musical director. And live, I'm going to be going on tour with him, playing in front of thousands of people all over the world, spreading a positive message. It's going to be a great band. I hope everyone will check out Easy Star All Stars live as well, and check out our next album that I'm gonna make eventually. No, I just said that to scare my partners. I'm working on it, really. And thank you to everyone. Wow, it's just so nice to get love from people in this format. Check out, before I go, check out my socials. Why not? @Goldswagger_ on Instagram and Twitter. Goldswagger and also Michael Goldwasser, producer on Facebook. Goldswagger is my R&B project of all R&B songs that I wrote and produced with lots of great singers. It's not out in the US yet. I'm waiting for the right opportunity, but I went to #1 on the UK soul charts a couple of years ago with it. It's also out in Japan, and I'm getting like pop radio play in Japan, which is kind of fun. And I think it's great music, and I hope to have opportunities to bring it to many more people soon. But on socials, I'm known as both Michael Goldwasser and Goldswagger. So check for me. And people are saying they enjoyed listening, which is really, really sweet. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Shabbat Shalom to all my friends in Israel and all my other Jewish friends, or anyone who just wants a peaceful Sabbath. And if I do another live stream at some point, I'm going to set it up so I can play music so that, it could be more fun. I could play guitar, I could play keys, I could play bass. And I'm going to leave you with, I'm just going to leave this up, and I'm going to leave you with a little more Jason Mraz, Look for the Good. Peace. Oh, I think I'm going to do that, except I don't have any volume. That's pretty funny. All right, let's try again. Here we go. Look for the good, everybody. Oh, that's pretty funny. I keep thinking I'm about to play music, and then it's not working.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all had. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate our love mistakes. If there's a silver lining, you still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are. You're just like me. I see you're searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are, just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying, when it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. everyone is God. Everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good, look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes, and maybe they should. Look for the good, look for the good. Yeah, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good, look for the good. Life sure would be sweeter if everybody would. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everything. Look for the good in, look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good, look for the good, look for the good in everyone.
Peace out.